Hey, this is the Hard Truth of Tony Shaffer, powered by 6 Hour, never settle. I had a choice of what I carry in combat. I only carry the best. You should only carry the best. Best 6 Hour, never settle. Today, I just happen to have my P365 with the Wilson Combat grips. Man, oh man, 13 rounds of 9mm goodness. If you need it, it's there. And it's an excellent little weapon. Little in size, but big in effect, if you know what I mean. Anyway, back to the show. We are also sponsored by Swiss America. Call to get a free copy of their Secret War in Cash, 800-289-2646. Tell them Tony Shaffer sent you. Cash is something that people are going to try to take away from you. Don't trust anybody that tells you differently. Go check out Swiss America, 800-289-2646. We are on the America Out Loud Talk Radio Network and their podcast network. Check us out at Project Sentinel, projectsentinel.com. We are on X at PRJ_Sentinel. We're there. And then, of course, you can hear the old shows, and they don't get worse with age. They get better with age, as a matter of fact. So you can check us out at thehardtruthwithtony.com. Without further ado, I'm being joined by the gang today. The amazing Cherie Currie, the semi-comatose Chris Cardani, and then the shower fresh Elizabeth Breckingham.
So, are you a Breck girl, Elizabeth?
She's a Breck girl.
Exactly. Breck girl. There you go.
Breck.
This is her audition.
I remember Breck shampoo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which is the one where they
Cherie, welcome to the show. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about you behind your back. Your ears have been burning in the morning. You've probably been like haunted by the ghost of Chris and I talking about you, because there's something called 2030, Project 2030, that, man, oh man, if you ever wanted to get a look at a Bond villain's evil plan, I think that's it. So welcome to the show, and let's talk about what the UN's up to this week.
Well, do you want me to start?
Yeah. Just give us kind of your assessment.
Yeah. Well, I managed to get through about, 2.5, possibly 3 hours of the same old mumbo jumbo. When they talk about sustainable development, I mean, it's just another word for Agenda 21.
Of course.
Agenda 21, which Bill Clinton, ushered into the U.S. after George Bush, the senior, handed the baton to him. Agenda 21 is very ominous. So they renamed it to Sustainable Development, and then they changed it again to ICLEI. They keep changing things, but then with Trump, blowing everybody's mind and becoming president, he screwed it all up, because right now, at this moment, had Hillary won, we would have been a one world government.
Exactly.
So, Trump saved the United States of America. So few people know it. But yet, let me tell you, with Biden, opening the floodgates with Harris, she is as far left as anyone in the history of a candidate running for office, for presidency. But literally, it is just Agenda 21, because I that's the book I read, which is Agenda 30, is basically, they abolish private property. They everything that you hold dear will no longer exist. No more gasoline cars. They have no idea how to do this, but it's 15-minute cities. What worries me so much about Harris, when she talks about unrealized capital gains, is if she actually would do that, she could take our homes, Tony, Chris, myself, and because with inflation, my house is worth 5 times what I paid for it back in
here too.
27 years ago. Is property taxes, they would, let's say 1.2 is what my house is worth right now. They will tax us out of our homes, which is what they want. Blackheart will swoop in, buy all private property, and then they put us in stack 'em, pack 'em little units, if they so choose, and next to railroad tracks, public transportation only. I mean, this is 1984, Orwell's 1984 on steroids.
Yeah, I want to break that. So let's go through and break it
Mhm.
down because we've talked about this amongst ourselves, and I want to make this kind of put it together in bite-sized pieces for those who have just maybe started following us and have to understand why we're focused on this. Now, Cherie, you said something very important. This has been around since Bill Clinton, essentially. This is something that the
Mhm.
left has been essentially trying to weave within our education system, our system of governance, our system of commerce. One of the things that they want to bring here is the social credit system, the idea that you want to go to 7-Eleven and buy a cup of coffee and a donut, and you said something to offend the state. Well, no donut for you. I'm sorry. We're just
Mhm.
going to cut you off. And then the other thing, which we have to be very clear on, and you mentioned it, is gasoline cars. Now, I've got a degree in environmental studies, and for better or for worse, I'm a credentialed expert. I know you folks on the left don't like that. I'm sorry. I offend you that I took the time to get your freaking degree, and I got it. Sorry.
Mhm.
And well, it's true. And so, but my job then with someone who actually is credentialed is to tell the truth. And the truth is, there's no climate crisis. All of this is being generated for purposes of trying to essentially push everybody into the panic. Remember, Cherie, Ocasio Cortez said 6 years ago we only had what
12
six,
years.
10 years, 12 years. Well, we're
Uh,
halfway
Mhm.
to dead, apparently.
well,
Just I guess.
she
What?
actually
No, we're
she
we're
actually
already in the ground. Yeah, we're
in
in
what
the
was it,
ground.
2021, she said 9 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
Every time she
thank you.
takes off a year to
Yeah.
coincide with the year 2030.
Well,
That
I
should
guess
be
I
very
think she
important.
meant dog years, but that's not
Oh,
here nor
okay.
there.
There we
Anyway,
go.
No, yeah,
back
it's
to the topic.
She's
lunacy.
not
It's
very good at
lunacy.
math. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's
Mhm.
true.
Actually, she
She
is.
I
and
want
things
I
like
want to I want to
yeah,
intersect one thing
please.
too is one of the major things of Agenda 21 is stealing a generation of children.
Yes.
And when you
Mhm.
look at professors and universities, they're all far, far, far left. I mean,
Oh
they
yeah.
they
Mhm.
have and they don't teach children anymore. They don't teach them math. They don't teach them history. In fact, they change history.
No.
This
Mhm.
is moving children to the state rather than, and they disrespect their parents.
Yes.
And that's what they have done is so sinister and I mean, it's nightmarish. It truly is, and I do feel very sorry for people that haven't really understood what is because I started really diving into it in 2008 after Obama was elected. This is so beyond any the realm of anything that people are prepared for
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
I worry for them greatly because
Well,
they don't they won't know how to process it.
well, this is
Mhm.
like, and I mentioned this yesterday. We were doing Wake Up Patriots, and I said this is like a true Bond villain. You've got World Economic Forum, Klaus Schwab, and do you have the picture of him, Chris, that we could put up? I
Klaus
Oh, Klaus
Schwab.
Schwab. Yeah, we can do a
Klaus
Klaus Schwab.
Schwab, who actually is a Bond villain, and this is his
Yes.
program, the
He
World
talks
Economic
just
Forum.
like one. Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
the World Economic Forum, along with Alex Soros and George Soros.
Ugh.
By the way, Tim Walls, it got kicked in the balls by Alex. Apparently, I just posted a picture on X where it looks like he just kicked him in the balls. Just saying, I don't know if he did or not, but it looks like it. Anyway. But Tim
Huh.
Walls is meeting with Alex Soros. There he is. Well,
Yeah.
that's World Economic Forum President Klaus
What an outfit.
Schwab.
And that's
And
He
fitting.
looks
man, oh
like he's
man,
auditioning. He really truly looks like he's auditioning for the part of the evil villain. Well, that's redundant. In a
yeah,
Bond movie. Look at that
Yep.
outfit. I mean,
yeah.
that's just creepy in itself. Ugh.
Well,
And
I
the
mean,
way he
but
talks.
that's the
But
thing.
that's
It's like
that's him. Yeah.
yeah, that's him. That I mean, as Cherie's saying,
Ugh.
it's like they're evil. I mean, they
Yeah.
love even
I'm
looking evil.
exactly. George Soros and his son, they really truly look evil.
Well,
When
Yeah,
George
people let that
That's
much
right.
corruption in their hearts, you really start to physically become what, you know, is inside of your soul. I mean, it's
Oh,
just
and
I think
creepy.
that's true.
he's worse than his father. I mean,
Yeah,
truly, he's doubling down on everything
Ugh.
Soros, his father, has been doing. It's beyond the realm. Even it's beyond imagination.
Yeah.
yeah.
Uh,
That's yeah, Alex Soros right there, and
Alex,
he's younger, he's more energetic, and but basically let's put it this way. I don't know, I don't know how anybody could conceivably stake their political lives and their political opinions on a man who George Soros, meaning who has spent his life interfering in elections worldwide and has made his wealth by devaluing currencies or screwing over currencies of
Well,
third world countries.
That's a
And
really good
that's the
point.
stealing.
issue.
Yeah,
He's
Stealing.
you're right.
well, they've got the money though.
Right.
Yeah. I
Now,
mean,
Yeah.
do you remember seeing him talk about during World War II how he was taking paintings and very
yes,
valuable artwork
Yeah,
from the Jews, and that and even though he's Jewish, he
He's
didn't. He said
Jewish.
somebody else was going to take it. I mean,
Kappa.
now
No, no, no.
that is
Three,
sick.
there was a group that individuals were called Kappas. Those were the Jews who were helping the Nazis move Jews out of out of the ghetto into the concentration camps. They had
Mhm.
Jewish, yeah, they're the Kappa. There he is. There's
Yeah.
the Kappa in chief right there. So he looks like Emperor Palpatine. He does. I
he
mean, he's
does.
got,
He does.
Yes.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh
Now, as far
God.
as his son Alex, I would submit this to you. Alex looks a lot like Pat from Saturday Night Live. What do you think about
Grown
that?
up and lost some weight. Yeah.
Oh
Did you? That's right. And
man.
don't forget, Alex got all slimmed down because he married Carlos Danger's ex-wife, Abedin,
That's
which is
right.
true. He
That's
did.
right. That's
You
right.
think I'm making this up?
Nope.
He married Uma Abedin, who was
Oh.
who
Ooh.
was Hillary Clinton's
Yes.
Yeah.
left breast or something
I
like that. I
no,
don't.
I thought
Like
she was married
her
to
best
Wiener.
buddy, her assistant.
No,
something.
that's so Cherie, that's his name. That was his online name, Carlos Danger.
Yes, Carlos Danger was Wiener. Yes,
Carlos
that's true.
Danger was his online name, and there they are.
Well, there's a
You
pair.
know,
Oh,
the
Yep.
ex,
God.
the ex Miss Wiener.
Ah,
Let's hope they don't procreate. Oh my
and the son
gosh.
of Sam.
Oh man, is she an
Bottom line is,
Ostermeyer Wiener or what? I don't
you know,
know,
D-
man.
does he look like a future serial killer, a soy-infested serial
I
killer?
think
No,
he's
no,
That's what's
no.
gonna
It's
already a
happen.
not.
serial
It's not.
killer.
It's not future Chris. He's already there.
Yeah, he's
They're
already
just
there.
Yeah, I
adding
know. I know
bodies.
he's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I know he's
Seriously,
there.
have they procreated? Do they have any kids? I hope not.
Not yet. No.
Ugh.
yeah. Well, make no
No.
mistake.
He-
They hate us. They hate.
Yeah.
They hate us, little worker ants. They consider
Mhm.
us a scourge on this planet, and
Mhm.
they loathe us, and they would love to see us gone. So,
Well, see, I want to talk about it because Sherry, you live in a place. I mean, your part of the city is beautiful. I spent time there in Tarzana and Chatsworth and all that. But man, oh man, the one resource that you guys could be living off of with no problem, gasoline, fossil fuel, is being
Mhm.
limited because your governor, who's not gay, by the way, just saying, he's not. I mean, just he's not. Just don't. Whatever you think, Gavin
Don't
Newsom's
ask,
not
don't
gay.
tell.
Just that's right. Well,
Mhm.
I'm just telling you, he says he's not, so I take him at his word. Anyway,
Mhm.
Gavin Newsom, who is trying to put you all on the electric grid permanently. And oh, by the way,
Mhm.
cut the electric grid so you don't have enough power. It works out well. Everybody's miserable, right? But that's my
Mhm.
point.
Equally
California
miserable.
is a beautiful state being driven into the ground by these wackadoodle lefty policies. And this is linked to I mentioned the Chinese credit system. They want to link your well-being, your economic potentiality to your attitude regarding the government, because apparently they can put out disinformation. But they think you're doing something to say disinformation, well, they can put you in jail. And
That's
on
right.
that point, then they're extending this issue to power and means of generating power and all the things that go with your ability to move. Remember, cash gives you the ability to spend on whatever without a paper trail. Your car gives you the ability to travel theoretically without being tracked. Well,
Yep.
they want to end all that. They want to put you on the grid so you have a green car that, by the way, is the components come from children in the Central African Republic working in mines to give you lithium and cobalt. These 8 to 10-year-old kids working with their hands to pull this stuff out of the ground so you can sign it to China to make it into batteries. And those batteries are put together and manufactured and sent back to California and the not gay Gavin Newsom for him to allow you all to have access to these things. And oh, by the way, if you offend the state, they can turn your car off, right? I mean, there's going to be a computer in there.
Mhm.
Blood
Like,
lithium.
Sorry, Cherie, no power for you. You got to sit there in your valley and
Mhm.
just we're going to hold you a prisoner in your own home with no power
Mhm.
and deprive you of things because you've offended us. That's what they want, right? I mean, this is where this is all going.
Right.
Well, not
Right.
only that, I mean, they with all that gas tax money, which I was begging my family. There's a couple people on the left in my family that when I was begging them not to vote for Newsom, number one, number two, do not vote for this gas tax because I read it. I read everything I could on it. I
Yeah.
knew that this was not for roads and bridges. Just check out our roads; they are a mess. But the thing is that nothing has been uh, invested into our electrical grid. So we have rolling brownouts and blackouts here in Los Angeles. I suffered one
Mm,
when it was 106 degrees. That
Ooh.
was exactly 6 hours. They were
mm,
claiming that it was something had happened with one of their whatever. I don't know. But the thing is when it's exactly 6 hours, you know that this is a rolling blackout.
Of
They don't.
course.
And
Of
I've got
course.
right.
friends that own electric cars. My nephew owns an electric car, and there is no place to charge these cars.
Huh.
I
No.
mean,
Hmm.
very few places. The bottom line is they don't want us to have private transportation, whether it be battery operated or not. And these battery cars are so heavy that just the rubber alone from the tires of these cars is polluting so much more than gasoline powered engines.
Mhm.
There are and it's just ridiculous. It's all they didn't prepare because that's what the Democrats do. They don't prepare for any of it. They just all that money, billions and billions and billions of dollars that we had in California
Mhm.
as a surplus when Newsom came into office, and now we are billions in debt because of this man, and is truly he is the worst villain, the scariest politician I think that has ever graced the United States of America, and he wants to be our president. He has destroyed my state, destroyed
But
it.
that's my point. That's my point.
Mhm.
What they've
Yes, he
done,
has.
Kamala is his minion or whatever you want to call it, vanguard. He would take and do to all of America what Newsom's done to California. And sure, you and I
Mhm.
both know he is working to implement with great clarity the 2030 agenda. Would you agree with me on that?
Oh, absolutely. Oh
Yes.
my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he's
what was
doing
he
that.
doing in China, Tony? He went
Yeah.
to China for I don't know what a week and hung
Yeah.
out with the president and the CCP, the higher echelon of the CCP. Do you think that he was schooling them on communism? I don't think so. I think he was there to get schooled on how he
Yeah.
could delicately uh move us into a more of a communism ideal,
He's down with
Right.
and the rest.
CCP.
Pardon me.
He's down with the CCP.
He's down with the
Well, boy,
You
CCP.
he's the
know me.
governor of
That's
That's
right.
right.
but
That's what we
He
have.
does.
We should do.
the
We should
governor
do a
of
song to
California.
that.
Yeah, we should.
Are
But
you
you
down
know,
with
Let's write it.
CCP? Yeah, you
Yeah,
know me.
who's down with CCP after he last commie. All right, there we go.
but look at but you know what I mean. I know it's funny, but it really when you look at Adam Schiff, who was
Oh,
just a Burbank, Burbank's not that big, right? How did this guy,
Oh.
this nutcase, just rise to the power that he has? It's frightening because you know that they're insiders, you know they're deep state,
Mhm.
you know
yeah,
that they are all in,
Oh.
all in.
yeah.
That's a
Yeah,
picture
Is
of
that
Adam
all
Schiff.
Gavin?
in.
Gavin in China? Is that
That's
what that
Adam
is?
Schiff right there. He looks
Oh,
just
that's
like
Adam.
him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
man.
Now I'm
I
gonna
could
have
say something, but I
nightmares.
get in trouble.
Oh.
But Sheree, back to the fuel issue. You know, a couple years ago before we met, I was up in Northern California to see the redwoods, which is spectacular. I mean, if you haven't seen the
Mhm.
redwoods, you've got to go see them. I mean,
Hmm.
just utter amazing beauty. I mean, these things they're huge. I mean, you've got to see them in person to understand how amazing they are. Just highly
Mhm.
recommended. You know, but one of the places I went was to Mount Shasta and to some of the the little town down there, and it was interesting. I stayed at a really nice, I think it was Best Western or something. It was just a nice hotel, and outside of this hotel was was 6 Tesla charging stations, and I swear to you, Cherie, there was always a line. There was never not a line because there's not enough charging stations for the Teslas
Mhm.
for any electric car. So
And it
you
takes a
know,
long time. It takes a long
yeah,
time to charge
well,
those
that's why
cars.
they had a
Charge it.
line because
Right.
you pull up and then you're there for like I don't know 45
40
minutes
minutes.
maybe.
Mm,
Yeah,
Well,
and so you can't live with electric cars. Secondly, what if there was like a disaster? Can you imagine trying to evacuate LA in an electric car? Would you? If all the world, I mean,
Oh,
think about that.
good
this is where
point.
natural
If you had to get
selection
out of
comes
LA,
in.
you'd never make it. You'd be stuck on the interstate. You'd be stuck on the 5 forever.
Mhm.
You know,
Well,
you could never get out of the city.
I believe Darwin wrote about that, so that's another story. Another
Survival of the fittest.
another thing, and I
But,
want to
but
throw
you
this
know,
at you
but
guys.
Chris, just
Yes.
to that, did any of you guys see the Obama movie, the one, what's it called, with Julia Roberts? And but that was one of the scenes in that movie that the Obamas produced about basically the end of the United States was all the Teslas that were
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
abandoned on the road. They were
Uh,
all Teslas.
Civil War. I
Oh.
enjoyed that movie. Yeah, and all the
Oh, I
Teslas
didn't
were
see
like
that.
No, it
they
wasn't. It
turned
wasn't
evil.
called. It wasn't called Civil War, but it was.
Well, was that
Gosh.
different? Well, it was.
But
Oh,
they produced it. They produced it. Michelle and
Well,
Barack.
Civil War was good too, but
Right.
but
Yeah,
yeah, I know what you're
that was
talking about.
good.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All the Teslas revolted and were killing people,
Now,
much like Christie. It was like a bad Stephen King novel.
oh, well, Tony,
Oh,
to your
that.
point, to your point earlier, Tony, and I understand we only have a few minutes left in this, but I want to throw this at all of you. You were discussing the social credit system and how we could be monitored through the electric vehicles. Well, keep in mind,
Mhm.
because there's a gas tanks in most of these states, the liberals, the leftists, and the government are thinking, how are we going to tax electric cars? Well, the idea is to put a monitor in each of these cars and monitor the use. I now sound like Kamala Harris. I used that same word in the same sentence, but monitor the use by again calling it a use tax for the road. This way, they know exactly how far you're going, where you're going, and if they need to pull this kind of thing up, they'll be able to do that. That's why the easy passes are around too. You can be tracked that way. It's too easy to track people, but people don't mind because again, you're trading everything for convenience or a quieter car or to feel good about yourself.
Mhm.
But they don't
Good point.
realize what's
Yeah.
happening. They don't realize this is that there is a full government monitoring situation going on if they allow this stuff to go through. Sounds nice, sounds pretty, sounds like you're doing something nice for the world, but no, no. You're basically allowing the government to keep a closer eye on you in exchange for convenience. We can go as far as the smart homes and everything else there too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's what they're trying to do. Everything is going to be digitized. Everything is going to be essentially networked. And I'm all for convenience, but man, oh man, if you allow, like, we'll take a second here because we're gonna have to do a break. But Cherie, think about. All right, I used to do this for a living, so I kind of know weaponized technology. What happened with the Israelis taking out the Hezbollah leadership? Well, it kind of shows you what you can do. Well, no, that was a good use of
That
weaponized
was
technology.
Yes.
clever.
That's a good, yeah.
The whole
Oh my
concept,
smart.
and you've read it, the
Oh.
whole concept of Darkheart was to go do to Al Qaeda very dark and bad things. But we have to be careful. Yes, sweetie.
I
Yeah, there
love
it is.
this
Yes.
book.
Yeah,
I love this
that's what I'm
book.
saying.
Get
So,
it.
you know, the
Everybody
concept's
get this
there.
book.
I have
Oh, I have
mine.
mine.
you.
It's
I have mine too.
Yeah.
It's on the shelf. It's
Well,
right there.
That's
Oh,
right.
yeah,
So, but my point being is that
Yeah.
technology is ambivalent to the user. It can be used for good or bad. And that's what
Right.
we're going to talk about the second part of the show here is the fact that we have people who want to have access and control of the technology that can make our lives more livable for purposes of making our lives a living hell, right? That's what
Right.
2030 is all about.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Agenda
All right, so
2030.
That's a good
That's
point
right.
to stop and then come back.
That's right. That's right.
They're
We're
going to
going to
make
take a
our lives
break.
a living hell. Well,
Right. Well, they would.
are.
They have. Look
They
at what
are.
they want to do. I mean,
Exactly. You're right.
in some houses, I don't know, Elizabeth, did you know that in some houses they want to install a laugh track of Kamala Harris so you walk in and it laughs at you?
Oh.
Living hell. That's
Yeah,
right.
they hooked it up to my shower. So yes.
Well, I'm definitely living off the grid if that's happening. In
That's
your
right. All right.
shower.
Well, we'll be back on the grid after this short break. We'll be right back with part 2. Hey, this is the Hard Truth of Tony Shaffer, part 2. Still powered by 6 Hour, never settle. I had a choice of what I carried in combat. I carried the best. You should carry the best. The best is 6 Hour. Also, check out Swiss America. Make sure and check them out for their special Walking Liberty $50. It's an offer of $50. You can't go wrong. 800-289-2646. Tell them Tony Shaffer sent you. That's right. Again, that's 800-289-2646. Ask about the Walking Liberty $50. Real money for real people. That's what we say. Also, we are on the America Out Loud Talk Radio Network on their podcast network as well. And check us out, Project Sentinel, projectsentinel.com. On X, we are at PRJ_Sentinel. And of course, check out the old shows, the Hard Truth with Tony.com. They get better with age, just like all of us, right, Cherie? We're all getting better with age.
That's right.
That's right. So we were talking at the end of the last part about people making our lives miserable. And let's go right to the source of the current misery. Someone named Kamala Harris. There she is. Man, oh man. But I think those people, did those people get, Chris, do you know if those people got a Cadillac for sitting there in that studio?
Oh God.
They were.
I don't know.
Look at the looks on their faces. They're looking at this like, hey, where's my car? I was told I was supposed to have a key under my seat.
Dude,
somewhere.
where's my car? There's a movie about that. There's a movie on that, I think. I didn't see that movie, but I guess I should. All right, so Cherie, we're going to jump right into this. Did you know? I don't know if you knew this. Did you know that shooting people in your house is funny? Oprah actually asked her about Second Amendment, and she started laughing. She says, "Well, I shoot people in my living room." It's like that was funny. It's like I had no idea that shooting people using lethal force was funny.
Then Kamala said, "Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that." I probably shouldn't have said that out loud.
Really?
Oh, and then she said, "My staff will take care of that."
Well, was she talking about her husband's staff, or is that different?
I
don't think he has a staff.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't think he has.
Can any of them lift a gun?
Yeah, she claims she owns a gun. I don't see her.
So I want to start with that. So Cherie, do you think that first off, I think we could all agree shooting people ain't funny, but they made it into a funny thing, and they were all laughing about it. But why does the left pander? Do you think that Kamala really is a gun owner? First off, do you really believe that? I don't believe it.
No, again, there's the hypocrisy because they talk about school shootings and how they need to really have gun control, but then she could turn around and joke about shooting an intruder, which of course for someone like me that's lived alone for a couple decades at this point, it's not funny. And I do have guns and I know where they are. And if someone comes in, I will kill them. I don't care about the laws because I'll be alive.
Exactly.
But she makes fun of the American people is what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And Oprah, I know that Oprah really had her hands full with this because Oprah's not a dumb chick. Okay.
No.
And she really realized that she was in a world of hurt with that ridiculous display and Meryl Streep and Ben Stiller and all the other airheads. And I love Meryl Streep. I mean, but the thing is that they just are not, they're not normal everyday Americans.
No.
What they think and what they feel absolutely doesn't even compare. They live in La La Land for sure. And I think that Oprah show really hurt Kamala, which I'm glad because it showed again that this is an airhead, and she didn't work. She didn't work as attorney general. She didn't work as a senator. Nothing was passed under her. She's just been skating to become president. Period. She did nothing as vice president. Zero.
You're right.
And all of a sudden she gets this amazing. On a golden platter to be the president of the United States, the most inept woman, I think, on the planet who could have really done something as vice president, really could have done something for women, really allowed us to shine. And she did zero. And
because it's all about her. She's a Marxist. Well,
That's
speaking of that,
exactly
so I don't know why they thought somehow having all those celebrities would connect with the average Joe or Jane. And look, don't get me wrong. I really like Bryan Cranston, at least his acting. I think he was spectacular in Breaking Bad. I
Yes.
saw him
Mhm.
in his show, and I saw him live in New York when he did Network. I thought he did a great job at that. He was still attacking Trump, but he was a good actor. So I try
He
to
is a good
separate
actor.
I try to separate their politics because their politics here, like they're wackadoodle. I mean, it's like, really?
Mhm.
You're endorsing a woman who literally undermined women's rights? And that's what's going on here. But Cherie, let me ask about this because you study things. So according to Kamala, we have the right to have aspirations. And I've been studying the Constitution, and I can't find that right. Do you think I'm looking
Mhm.
in the wrong place?
Yeah. Well, I think that all those celebrities really didn't realize what they'd signed up for because Kamala
Mhm.
Harris made them all look like absolute fools.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
Mhm.
they call it word salad. I just call it mumbo jumbo bullshit. And that this woman absolutely has no idea what she's doing. She has no idea what her policies are. That's why,
Mhm.
and you look at Hillary Clinton, who turns around and says that she doesn't need to do any more interviews. She doesn't need to do a debate. All you have to do is go and read, look at her website. You know what? People don't buy that. We want to hear from the horses, the donkey's mouth. Okay. We
Yeah.
want to hear from the donkey's mouth how she's going to fix what she broke. And she
Yeah.
has nothing for us. Zero, zippo, bye bye.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, so that makes me go to my next thing because according to her, according to Kamala Harris, Cherie, this may be a shock to you because I didn't know. This is like an education for me. We believe in what's possible. Did you know that? I didn't know that, but according to her,
Oh
we
gosh.
believe in what's possible. Chris, do you believe in what's possible?
I believe that
Elizabeth,
we
do
all
you
have
believe in what's
ambition.
possible? We should all join hands here and believe in what's
Oh
possible, right?
gosh.
We all have
She also likes
ambition.
to say opportunity economy. That's like her new slogan. Oh, like before she came along, we didn't have any opportunities? Like, how does that make sense?
Well, I think
Well,
Oh,
she's stealing from the
Every,
opportunity zones that, again, it's another copy
opportunity
of Donald Trump's
economy.
policies.
but everything that she says, I equate to Agenda 21, which is now
yep,
Agenda 30.
exactly. That's why I'm going back
What
to this.
she,
Yes.
yeah, that's what because she thinks about it, because she doesn't want to absolutely out and out lie about how devastating it's going to be for everybody. But she literally talks in code in a way,
Mhm.
about her agenda. That is what it is. If she came out just like Newsom, who said, if you knew why or how I was going to use that gas tax money, you never would have voted me in as governor.
Exactly.
He said
Exactly.
that right the day he was inaugurated as governor. She's doing the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so frightening about this because the basic premise of their run for office, Gavin Newsom, Kamala Harris, is this, and they're trying to make her into the latest version of Barack Obama. Now, I'll
Mhm.
say this about Obama. Obama was gifted. He's a very evil but gifted man. He knew how to run
Mhm.
campaigns. He speaks in such a way. He's like Satan's left testicle. I think he really does have. He has that kind
Oh,
of satanic magic.
perfect.
Well, I think Gavin
Oh,
Newsom's is the right testicle. Just saying. I don't know what that
oh,
makes Kamala. Then I don't want to get into that. But I'm just
oh,
The udder.
well, I
That
don't
was
know.
udder.
I'm asking. Look, I don't know these things. That's why I'm asking you
oh.
all. So, but my point being
How
is that
are you?
they all subscribe to a very soft, very like, oh, Cherie, we are only doing this to help you. Don't you understand that those tax dollars are meant to make your life more livable? And it's like he even talks about aspirations. I'm fighting for the aspirations of others. Like, no, you're not. You're basically trying to find a way to lie to me so that I give you money, give you resources, and you use them to basically end my child's future. And that's why I wanted to go with this to the children. So one of the things
Oh,
you've been fighting and you've been effective in getting the message out is the fact that we have a government, Gavin Newsom, uh, Kamala Harris, all these folks somehow think that giving a child the ability to get on puberty blockers, which have permanent, irreversible effects, or worse, being surgically altered before they can legally smoke a cigarette, somehow that's a good thing. I mean, and yet somehow we who call this out are the ones who are inhumane, don't understand science, and we're the bad guys. And yet somehow right now, and I wanted to bring this up because you're doing the the Amy movie, which is
Leaving Amy.
Leaving Amy. So let's talk about this for a second, because this is part of Agenda 2030, the idea that we have to accept, without regard to parental responsibility, which we're, you've got a son, I've got sons. We are responsible for our children after a certain age, but the state will now, Gavin Newsom wants to have the authority, or has the authority, to take kids away from their parents now. Is that right, Cherie? They don't agree
That's
with
absolutely right. That's right, Tony. And
Wow.
also, when she talks about aspirations, she is fighting for aspirations, but they are for prisoners in prison
Yeah.
who
Yeah.
who identify as transgender. Their aspirations are to have surgeries, and her
Wow.
aspiration is to make sure, and she did make sure here in California, that prisoners who want sex change operations will get them under our dime. One man in particular, which I saw the article yesterday, choked to death a 13-month-old baby.
Oh,
And this guy has tattoos all over his face, and he is going to get surgery in prison, and he's a murderer that
wow.
is to serve 55 years. What they have done, again, like, what is right is wrong as far as the left is concerned. What is evil is good. It is
Mhm.
the most insane what they're doing to our children. And this is again about stealing a generation of children. Agenda
Yeah.
21/30 is that the brainwashing. And with Biden in office, they just went full bore, especially through COVID, to indoctrinate these children into this transgender community. Because again, as we all know, when you're young, you don't know who you are. You just want to be accepted. You just want to fit in. And children that identify as trans they're all of a sudden the popular kids in school. So of course they're going to turn around and want to be a part of that, have a piece of that as a kid. But they confuse children. They confuse them to a point where instead of going out to play, they sit in a classroom and they talk about how that you can be anything, that you're not necessarily a girl or a boy, but you could be animals, you could be anything you want. I mean, this isn't education.
You can be a
This is
vegetable.
You
Mhm.
could. Yes, you could.
Like Joe
And
Biden. He's already a vegetable.
That's gotta hurt.
that's right.
But
That's right.
anyway.
But leaving Amy, that is why I'm leaving the business. And Tony, I'm so glad you're going to be at my show November 1st at the Whiskey a Go Go,
Yes, ma'am.
because that's going to be my last show. Because leaving Amy is so important to me. Saving children from this lie is more important. As much as I love
Mhm.
music, I'll always do little things here and there, but I need to step up and do absolutely everything I can to stop this and stop these people, because I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of these people.
They're afraid of
They
you because they know
Mhm.
you're fearless. Trust me, I'm seeing it.
That I
So
am.
it's
That
They
I am.
definitely are.
yeah,
That I am.
They
So
depend on people to be afraid of them, and
exactly.
it's good
And
that
say
you
nothing.
do have the courage and you're not afraid to stand up and like you said, investing all of your time and your energy and your talents to help protect children, because yeah, they
you guys there?
I'm here.
I'm here. Yes, right here.
Oh, yeah, something just went all funky.
No, I think we just had a little freeze there. All right, give me
Okay.
a couple seconds here. All right, we'll lead off with a question or something. I think Elizabeth froze.
Yeah, Elizabeth Rose, yeah.
Well, that's what she gets for taking a shower and walking out in the cold.
All right, she'll pop back in. All right.
All right. So, well, this is great because I think we're going down the path here, Cherie, that helps people understand that everything we're talking about overlaps. That these things are connected. One of the things that I've found very difficult, and you and I have been friends, and I think we see the world through eyes of practicality. We've been on both sides of the spectrum. We've been the wild side. We've been the spiritual side. I think we understand kind of from both sides what's at stake. And what is most significant as you talk through the leaving Amy, you talk about devoting your life to a cause, is that the other side will do whatever they can now at this point to discredit you. You've been attacked. You've lost opportunities. They go about trying to make people look, and I'm, as you know, you mentioned dark art. I was a whistleblower. Well, it wasn't about the fact I was talking about, hey, we identified the 9/11 hijackers before 9/11. Oh, you're just saying this for attention. No, I'm not. I'm actually saying because we knew about, we should have stopped them. Oh, it's just the craziness that they do to dispute you doing the right thing. It's never easy. And so that's what I think people have to recognize, that you're now you're going to invest or have invested your time, your resources to helping educate people to the dangers of 2030. The 2030 agenda is linked to the dismantling of society and social order. One of the things they have to do, as you mentioned, is take our children, to remove our children from any sanity, to literally, and I'm going to quote 1984, because that's one of my first, the slogans of 1984: war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. And man, oh man, are they trying to make us ignorant right now, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny because it's not funny, but it's interesting because just like the call of the chainsaw, when I had never had any intention of becoming a chainsaw artist, but that little voice
But you
would
do
not
it,
leave
you
me
do a
alone.
spectacular job.
Thank you very much.
No, it's
But
amazing.
that voice is telling me what, and I listen now. I absolutely listen. That it is that, and to me, I'm going to be 65 in November. I want to spend the rest of my life making a difference. And that means going up against these evildoers because, like I said, I'm my father's daughter who fought on the front lines of the Pacific in World War II.
Yeah.
I will do anything to stop what these people are doing. Absolutely anything, because what they're doing is wrong. And when you
Yep.
have that conviction and you absolutely know it, there is no fear, is there, Tony?
Oh,
When you
no.
were fighting for our country because you
I,
knew you were fighting for the right thing.
yeah, it's kind of interesting because I've been, thinking back. I've had time to kind of reflect and look back at kind of what I did, and yeah, there was a lot of things I just walked into that were highly dangerous. Other people, got killed doing, and I feel very fortunate. But the other thing too, I feel I've read your book. I read your book. Uh, as Patton said about Rommel, I read your book, and man, oh man, you and I have survived very dangerous circumstance. Everything you did in your young days, everything I did in my young days, we were equally disdainful of fate. We're just going out and doing things. But we came out on the other end and we survived. And I have to believe we survived for a reason. There's a reason you and I are still ticking. We've got it licking and still ticking, just like Timex, right?
Yeah, and it's crystal clear. I mean, it's
Yeah.
absolutely crystal clear to me why
Yeah.
I survived.
Mhm.
And I am a soldier for all the right reasons. And America is going down the shitter really fast. I mean, in a swirl, like it's unbelievable the destruction that the Biden Harris administration has done in such a short period of time. That is exactly what Hillary Clinton would have done. Again, God bless Donald Trump. He would not buy into the Paris Accords. He would not buy into this UN bullshit. He would not
He's
buy
not.
into
Yeah,
the
he
World
knows.
Health Organization.
Mhm.
Donald Trump is the reason why why we can sit here and talk about it.
Yep.
Because this
Yes.
would have not
Mhm.
been possible had Hillary Clinton been voted in.
Yep.
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 Yeah,
And
you're
God
right.
Permanent
bless you for your
coup.
service, Tony.
There we
Oh,
go.
thank you,
I
Cherie.
love you.
Thank you. Well, but speaking of that, just a quick left turn. I've been doing a deep dive on the Pacific War, and God bless your father, because man, oh man, that war was worse than Europe. I mean, I'm not saying people who fought in D-Day. I mean, Saving Private Ryan, it was horrible, but imagine every battle being as bad as D-Day, and that's what they were doing in the Pacific. Every landing, Tarawa, Guadalcanal. I mean, the list of the campaigns that the Marines had to go on is just
Right.
unbelievable. And so, God bless your
Mhm.
your father, and everything he did to invest in our future. And by the way, that's why we have to defend our our future now, because of the greatest generation, their sacrifice to make sure that we still have a path to the future that's free
Mhm.
and livable. And that's what we're talking about here. So there you go.
Yes, and I think that they made a
Mhm.
very grave mistake attempting this Agenda 21/30 with this generation of folk, because I'll tell you some of my stories one day that my dad told me of what happened when he was on the islands there in the Pacific
I can
fighting the
only imagine, Cherie.
Japanese.
I can only
Yeah,
imagine. Yeah,
Mm.
no, that's why I'm doing the deep dive right
unbelievable.
now. It's like, holy cow.
Unbelievable. But they
Yeah,
chose the wrong time. They should have waited another decade or 20 years, because they forget that who we are. And we
yeah,
are true Americans
Mhm.
that have our parents' blood in us. And we will
absolutely.
not let this happen. We will not let it happen, Tony.
Nope.
That I know. I know
Yeah,
I will do absolutely everything that I can, as you will. And so, yeah,
we will as a
we
team.
all will. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
we will.
That we will.
But Chris has
Mhm.
has something he wants to have the team do, right, Chris?
But we always do this. At the end of every show,
Tony's
we do
takes.
our Tony's takes, and it's time for
That's
them.
right.
Cherie, this is now Tony, Cherie, and Elizabeth's takes. So let's do this.
That's right.
Tony's
Oh,
takes
Here we go.
is powered by Sig Sauer. Never settle. And as you
Never
know,
settle.
never,
Tony does not settle.
I do
never
not.
settle.
I actually, I believe who carries a Sig as far as fictional characters? Sergeant Voight from Chicago PD. He carries a Sig, so that's
Oh,
kind of cool. So he doesn't settle either. Now, does he?
No.
Uh,
Apparently not. I don't know
yeah.
this guy. Could you introduce me?
the Chicago PD. It's the lead character. I don't know how long the show's been on. It's been on for a
Oh,
long time.
gotcha.
He's cool though.
Chicago.
Yeah, it's Jason Begg plays him.
Really? Do
Kamala
they get
Harris.
Chicago pizza? They have Chicago pizza in that too?
I'd
Toggle.
rather have real pizza. But anyway,
Well,
Kamala
Oh,
Harris wants to end the filibuster to get her way, especially on abortion. You
oh, gee.
Democrats throw this around all the time. Is this lack of foresight by any of them, or just lack of understanding of why this government was set up and why it has a filibuster? What's your take, Tony?
so no, I think it's all about changing the name. They don't want to change the name from filibuster to fill a chick, like Chick-fil-A. So it's all about just
Village.
changing how you do it. So filibuster, no,
Changing the
fill a
name.
chick. Yes, changing the name.
All
Changing the
right,
name.
heyo. I have to give you
Oh,
that. That's right. That's right. You get a heyo for that one.
hey
Whoa.
yo.
What do you think, Cherie?
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm speechless. I'm sorry.
I wish Kamala Harris would say that once. Then we're all cackling like
Hey
Kamala.
yo.
Thanks a lot.
I think
And
Kamala depends on people not knowing American history so she can get this passed, and they don't because they don't know any better. She's
Yeah.
she's hoping on people's ignorance of American history, which is
That's what
why they have been in our public schools for like the last 30, 40 years trying to change American history so kids won't learn what they really should be learning.
hence
That's my
Agenda
theory.
2030. That's right. The advocates of
Yeah.
Agenda
Yep.
2030 want the same
2030.
thing.
That's right.
Mhm.
We have to not be able to understand why the free world was set up in order
Mhm.
for the elites to take over.
I
That's
think I
exactly
know.
true.
I think I know maybe why the filibuster
Okay.
is so extraordinarily important is because of the lies that they're telling us. I mean, when
Of
they turn
course.
around and they say they
Mhm.
say outwardly, and they allow it on television, that Donald Trump will ban abortions throughout the United States of America.
Not true.
Absolute,
Not true.
flat out lies.
No,
Not
and
true.
Mhm.
it's a proven lie. Even
Of course it is, but why are they allowed to do it? Why are these people allowed to blatantly lie to the American people over and over and over
Because the
again?
because
media
they're
won't. The
Democrats.
media is helping
Yeah.
them.
That's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah.
Of
Now,
course, well, the media's doing it too,
it's
but
disgusting.
but
it's
the
Anyway.
Well, the
filibuster
good
unbelievable.
news. Well, the good news is Senator Sinema and Joe Manchin both have said we can't endorse Kamala because of the issue, because of her going after, which is good. The two, well, I guess they're both independents now, formerly
yeah.
Democrats,
I
but
think
that's
they
a
are.
clue. Anybody who has half a brain are leaving the Democrat Party, so I guess that's a clue.
Mhm.
The thing about the filibuster is it avoids what's called the tyranny of the majority. This way,
Oh, right.
and again, that's why we also have the Electoral College, because the
Mhm.
majority can be swayed into doing something really dumb or offering something, and then maybe pushing their people in there. In Washington, you need people in the minority to have some sort of power to say, "Hey, this particular we understand that elections have consequences, but this particular law, this particular proposal has serious problems attached to it, and we're going to stop it with whatever power we have, and we're going to filibuster. This is why you need that.
And they don't read the bills, Chris.
Right.
I
They
mean,
never,
you
oh,
have
no,
to
they're too
pass
long.
the
They don't
bill
read
to
the bills.
read
They're
the
too long.
bill.
Right.
I think they purposely make them like hundreds of pages long. It's like, oh, they won't read them. It's like,
They'll-
yeah, you're right. They don't.
And
they
we'll
put
know when they.
everything into one bill. I mean, everything, and then they don't read it and they vote on it. I mean, our congressmen and our senators. I mean, shame on them.
Yep.
Shame on them.
Losing
They don't
pills.
do their job. I mean, they
Yeah.
just pat each other on the back, and all they do is raise money. It's
Well,
time. And I hope that I want to see the government shut down. I want to see
I do
it.
too. I said that yesterday. It's like,
They're
shut
too
it down.
afraid. They're afraid.
By the
They're
way,
not
they-
gonna
they-
do it.
Get down.
They pat themselves in other places besides the back, Cherie. Just saying,
Right.
Snoop Dogg and
We don't want to know that.
Puff
but
Daddy
anyway.
and all that.
Oh,
just
Poof
saying, but
Duty. You did it
Poof
again.
Duty.
It's the Diddy
Poof
now.
Duty.
I don't even know if
Poof
it's
Duty.
Diddy, P. Diddy, Puffy, or whatever
don't
else
know.
he calls
I'm
himself.
Yeah, I
still-
don't know.
I'm still dizzy from the Phila girl thing.
Fill a girl, fill a chick.
So let's check
That's
it.
right.
Oh,
Phila
yeah,
chick. I'm
yes.
still dizzy from that.
All right. Well, hey, we got to be fair, right? It's all about equity,
So
right?
It's
Equity.
so
Equity.
rock and roll, Tony. No wonder we're such
Yeah.
good friends. It's
Well,
so
speaking of rock and roll, let's talk again about we got Cherie's movie, Leaving Amy, right? That's the name of it, right?
Leaving
Yes,
Amy.
Leaving Amy.
Please support. Yeah, go check out the website. Support it. Leaving Amy, right there it is. They're working to get that done. She and Susan Olson, our friend Susan's working with her on this. So please go support them. This is important. We kid a lot about a lot of stuff here. We do. We like to have humor, but this is serious. You've got to do this. You've got to help Cherie and the folks get educated. And of course, I'm always touting the 1 November show, Whiskey A Go Go in
Yep.
Hollywood. Cherie's
November 1st. November 1st.
November 1st.
Cherie and Marie, I'm wearing, for those who are watching, I've got Cherie and Marie's rock and roll tour from 1978. I'm wearing that.
Nice.
By the way, Cherie,
Yes.
I always remind people that you survived. Godzilla did not eat you guys. Just saying. It was
No, and don't forget,
You survived.
John Ford Coley is flying in for it. Remember, England.
I know,
John
our
Ford
friend
Coley
John.
is going to do. Yeah, your friend John. Love is the answer, and I really want to see you tonight. I mean, he's going to do a couple of his
Great
number
songs.
one
Yeah.
hits,
Yeah,
and
That's right.
and the great Billy Vera.
Yeah.
He's going to be there and do a duet with me that's coming out, and
That's great.
it's just going to be nostalgic, and it's going
That'll be
to
wonderful.
bring us back to a better time because we need it. We need it
And
desperately.
we're gonna create that better time for our kids coming up. Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
against their wishes too.
Well, better.
Yeah.
I know what's better. All right. I mean, we know what's better, right? We know because we've been there both sides of the, we've done everything, so to speak. All right.
Yeah.
Well, and I've always got Cherie over my shoulder, the neon angel over my shoulder right there. Always.
I
Anytime you
see.
look up and you see me on Newsmax, neon angel over my shoulder. That's right.
Excellent.
On the right side too. There you go.
And my Doc Hart, love it.
All right, so we got to go. It's been another great show. Thank you all for being here. Man, oh man, the hour flew by. So again, check out Cherie, Leaving Amy, Whiskey A Go Go on the 1st of November. Otherwise, we'll for Elizabeth and Chris and Cherie, thanks for being here. We'll see you all again in the very near future. Bye now.